Hello everyone. First of all, thank you for watching this talk today. I'm really happy to be part of the Growth Mentor Summit, and I would like to walk you through the examples of growth marketing tactics that have helped companies such as Google, Salesforce, or Piktochart scale their business. But before we go into the juicy part, let's start with a small introduction. My name is Agata and I'm head of marketing at Piktochart. I have over 10 years of experience in developing and executing growth strategies. I have worked for 6 years at Google and later on at startups such as SimScale and Groove. Currently, together with my team at Piktochart, I'm on the mission to help marketing and sales professionals to tell great visual stories that stick. And apart from my day-to-day job, since May this year, I am a proud mentor at Growth Mentor. I'm really happy to be part of this platform, or I would rather call it actually a movement where we can share our knowledge and help each other to grow. So let's talk now about growth marketing. Over the last few years, growth marketing has become increasingly more popular. We started seeing an invasion of growth marketers and growth hackers on LinkedIn. But you might still wonder, what is actually growth marketing? Growth marketing focuses on using creative, low-cost strategies to help businesses acquire and retain their customers. And growth marketers differ from traditional marketers in that they focus on the entire customer funnel and not just the top of the funnel. I have actually a visualization for it, which you can see here. Growth marketing has helped to redefine the goal of marketing. So successful marketing is no longer only about acquiring customers or driving awareness. It's about acquiring customers that are going to stick around. Growth without retention isn't growth after all. Retention is the single most important strategy for growth, and growth is more important than ever right now. And why? It's because if a typical SaaS business loses 2 to 3% of their customers each month to churn, that means that they must grow by at least 27 to 43% annually to maintain the same revenue. And this means that thinking just about awareness or acquisition is simply not enough to grow the business anymore. Let's look at a few characteristics of growth marketing that make it different from the traditional marketing. First thing, the growth marketer has to be data-driven. The modern growth marketer dives deep into the data to figure out what strategies are working and is really comfortable using all the tools that allow for such analysis. For example, he's very accustomed and comfortable with using Google Analytics. He also is looking for cost-effective tactics. So growth marketers know how to drive growth without having a huge marketing budget. So they are good at negotiating pricing and looking for optimizing costs per acquisition in whatever they do. They are also creative. And the best growth marketers are willing to really think creatively outside of the box. They would never say, oh, it has never been done before, so why would I try it? And if actually that would be the attitude, then Airbnb would have never been able to grow with such tactics like offering free professional photography services to each and every person that was adding a listing on the Airbnb platform. Back then, a lot of people thought that this idea was crazy and it was actually an unnecessary spend from the Airbnb site. But actually, it ended up being a fantastic growth engine for the company. Growth marketers are also product focused. It's similar to sales. So salespeople need to know the product very well in order to be able to understand it and to sell it. And it's similar approach with growth marketers. They also need to be able to really sell and evangelize the product. And the goal is not to trick people into buying something they don't want, but rather to show the benefits and value of the product and truly believing that this product can help the users. They are also open to failure. Successful growth marketers believe that a failed experiment is not a bad thing. In fact, failure is the quickest way to gain valuable information. They will eventually identify the tactic that succeeded, and then they will be able to scale that specific tactic. They also know how to tell a story. All the data in the world won't help you figure out how to truly connect with your user. You must have the ability to synthesize both quantitative and qualitative information into a compelling story that truly resonates with your potential audience. And a perfect example here is the company called Tom's, the one that sells shoes, one-for-one shoe selling model. The brand's growth team was able to effectively communicate how social good is actually a key driver for their business. And now we'll go through each step of the funnel, which I showed you just a second ago, and we'll look into some of the growth marketing tactics that have proven to be successful for various businesses. I have prepared 2 tactics for each funnel step. Let's start with awareness, and first we will look at the KPIs. So a few KPIs that you could take under considerations are, for example, brand mentions. So you could calculate the number of times that your brand has been mentioned online. Like, there are actually tools that can help you achieve this and that can help you track it. And other metrics are organic traffic and direct traffic. Direct traffic is actually a very good indicator as well of your brand awareness, because those are the people who actually knew your website and came directly to your website without needing to use any referrals or typing in Google search as well. Another metric is reach and also engagement rate. And now let's look at some examples of tactics. So one could be influencer marketing. So let's say working with influencers on social media or on YouTube. And I actually have one example from my past career experience from YouTube that I will show you in a bit as the first example from the awareness part. Then listing or versus style articles. And what I mean by that is that basically what you could do is you could focus on this type of articles which list, like, let's say 10 solutions for B2B marketing, or like the best solutions for email marketing. So like lists that would show like what would be the best solutions for your specific audience and target basically specifically to be mentioned in these articles. Another style of articles is the versus style articles, where you would be compared to your competitor and like the features would be compared and like very strictly listed. These are very good articles because a lot of users who are already in the decision stage, they would be actually looking for something like that will help them to make that decision. So they would try to compare your solution to another solution. Another aspect are conferences. Conferences are really good if, let's say, you are speaking at a conference and you could showcase your brand, your company there. Then a modern PR. And here, I don't mean the traditional PR where basically you do a press release, but more this approach where you build story angles for your company, like things that make your company unique and interesting. Could be about investment or maybe who the founders are or the story behind the business. And you try to pitch the specific stories to the journalist and you start building relationships with the journalist. And the last one is the storytelling, which we have also mentioned in the example of Tom's. Let's jump into the first example of the tactics. So as mentioned, I have 2 success stories for the awareness. The first one is from my previous company, SimScale. So around 3 years ago, we have launched a campaign with a YouTube influencer called Real Engineering. Real Engineering is a channel that has over 3 million of subscribers, so they have a really big reach. And what was very important for us was that they have a lot of subscribers within the United States, which was an important market for SimScale as well. What the video helped us to achieve was that we focused on a video that was about the topic that a lot of people were interested in, and we were able to showcase the product there. We helped to generate a small footage video that was done with our product as well. And it gave us tremendous amount of exposure. A lot of people who have never heard about SimScale were able to find out about the company through the video. The final results were really impressive, so we were able to generate the number of leads equivalent to 3 months of advertising with AdWords in just 3 days with this video. Also, the cost per acquisition was 15 times lower than it would be in case of AdWords. And the video up till now had more than 3 million views. So it gave us a lot of exposure. And at the end, if you look at the graph at the top left corner, you will see as well the spike, where we can see in Google Trends what was the spike for brand searches for SimScale. The second example is from Kissmetrics. And Kissmetrics is a popular web analytics website, and very interesting story. They were able to grow from 0 to 350,000 readers a month with just infographics. They basically focus on publishing 47 infographics, which helped them their brand to gain momentum and that they needed to take off. Why infographics? So infographics are a great way to consolidate the data and show them in a very easy to process visual way. This is also something, by the way, that Piktochart is very well known as a tool for creating infographics. And Kissmetrics came to the realization early enough and leveraged the force of infographics for their own virality purposes and brand awareness. And the good idea that they had was that they used their infographics to start writing guest posts also for media outlets such as Forbes or Huffington Post, where they would basically feature their infographic. And that helped them to make these infographics viral, because people who read the articles, let's say in Forbes, would end up sharing them, and that's how they would find out and how they would come to Kissmetrics. And also, if people liked the infographic, they would end up sharing it, and that would begin a cycle that would continue repeating, that the person finds out about it and again shares it as well. So these were 2 stories from the area of awareness, and now I would like to move to the part about acquisition. So again, talking about our KPIs. We have a few here, so you could look into leads or marketing qualified leads, depending on if you are qualifying your leads, if you have specific criteria, if maybe marketing qualified leads are more important for you, or sales qualified leads. It really depends on the company. You could also look at trial signups, subscribers, or visitor to trial conversion rate, or a very important metric for marketing, cost per acquired customer, which will help you to make sure that you're actually not spending more money than you are getting an ROI back out of this money. And few tactics: SEO and content marketing, conversion rate optimization, push notifications or pop-ups, very popular right now. We have a lot of these browser notifications in Chrome as well, using subscribers, for example. Traditional PPC advertising, either like social media advertising or platforms like AdWords, partnerships, and email marketing, which can be very helpful as well. And again, I have two examples here from companies which were able to be very successful in the area of acquisition through growth hacking. The first example is from a company where I have also worked for before as their head of growth. And it's a company called Groove, which is a help desk software that was able to grow to 5 million in ARR without actually spending any marketing budget on advertising. They really just grew through SEO and content marketing. The founder, Alex Turnbull, was basically transparently sharing ups and downs of his startup journey on the Groove's blog, and that helped him to acquire so many readers, like so many people and companies and startups, small businesses were interested in reading this transparent story that it really helped them to grow a lot. And I was also responsible for doing customer stories, and each time when I had a call with one of the customers from Groove, they would always mention that the reason they ended up paying for Groove and choosing it over another product, like let's say Zendesk or something else, was that basically they could connect with the story shared by the founder. They really felt that it made the company more human. They felt that the founder understands the same problems that they are having, and they felt more comfortable to spend their money and become customer of a company like that than of a bigger company where they would become more like anonymous and it would be harder for them to relate to the company. Another example is actually from the company where I'm working right now, which is Piktochart. And it's a very, very recent example. These are actually numbers from October, so just last month. And in September, like around September, actually a bit earlier, we decided that we want to invest a bit more into our YouTube channel. So we started developing a series of YouTube videos, which would be like different hacks using Piktochart. But at the same time, we started also optimizing our existing YouTube content. So we had some videos out there, but we didn't spend a lot of time adding additional things to the video or descriptions. So we did a lot of optimization. We optimized the descriptions of the videos for SEO, adding the links and basically putting the transcript of the video within the description to help the video to actually start indexing as well in search engines. And at the same time, we also added end screens in our most popular videos to make it easier for people to subscribe and also visit our website. And the results were really amazing. So just in the month of October, we were able to generate almost 3,000 signups from the YouTube platform, and we were able to grow our sign-up rate by 178% year over year from the YouTube channel. Now, going farther with the funnel, we are moving to activation. And again, we're going to go shortly through the KPIs. Here, the most important KPIs would be daily active users, weekly active users, or monthly active users. So it really depends on your company, what makes more sense for you to focus on, where you see that is the break, and which metric is more important for you. And another very important metric is activation rate. So from the people who end up signing for your product, let's say you have a trial, you offer a trial version of your product, how many of the signups end up actually trying out, using your product and become active as well? This is how you could count the activation rate. And few tactics here as well. So onboarding flow optimizations, you could see what could be improved in the onboarding flow. There is a lot of potential for improvement there where you could really improve your conversions and prevent people from dropping off from your onboarding. Another aspect are in-app messages or in-app walkthroughs, which are very helpful as well to onboard the users, and where you can directly have a chat and conversation with the user in the moment when, let's say, he's struggling with the product. Then workshops and community building. Community building is a very important area for me because I actually come from the community background. So I was building online communities at Google, and I'm a huge believer of the community power. And then tutorials, help center, and trial email sequences. And let's go to the first example, which is an example from Salesforce. I don't know if you have ever attended the conference organized once per year by Salesforce. It's called Dreamforce. If yes, then you will know that this is one of the coolest conferences out there with over 150,000 registrants. And for example, in 2015, they have Stevie Wonder performing there, or like Foo Fighters, Killers. They had like really amazing people giving a presentation on the stage. Like they had Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube, Aaron Levy, the co-founder and CEO of Box. And what is interesting is the first row of the conferences always reserves and gets a special treatment for the Salesforce MVPs, which are actually their community power users. So those are not Salesforce employees, those are their community members. And Erika Kuhn, who is the Senior Director of Community at Salesforce, was actually able to prove the value of community across all their departments. At the beginning, community was part of their sales department, and then marketing, and then later on towards the end, they moved to product. And I think right now it still is within the product department. And she was able to prove that MVPs have a 33% higher product adoption rate and also spend 2 times more than any other customer. The next example is from DashThis. And DashThis allows marketers to create automated marketing reports. And it's a really cool tool. And the problem that DashThis had was that most of the people signing up to its free trial were encountering problems that were preventing them from setting up and using the tool correctly. So what they did, they turned to Hotjar for help. And using the CRO tool to look at the user sessions and see where they were running into problems, they were able to actually solve this problem. It allowed them to pinpoint a number of minor design issues that were stopping users from getting to the success with the platforms. Those are like not big things, like let's say the button was not bolded enough or there was some confusing layout. They were able to fix the things. They also added some pop-up hints and tutorial videos to guide users through the setup process, and the result speaks for itself. They were able to increase by 50% their conversion from free to paid from the trial, and also their customer satisfaction was up by 140% within 10 months of starting this CRO campaign. So some really good results. The next step of the funnel is retention. So yet again, let's look at the KPIs that we could measure here. So obviously lifetime value, very important metric, and also in general, like the step retention is very important part of the funnel, as you saw already at the beginning of the presentation. Then we have also measurement of churn rate, retention rate, repeat visitors, so how many of the visitors end up coming back to you, as well as customer satisfaction. And that could be customer satisfaction with both the product, also like with their experience, like customer experience. And few of the tactics, you could use customer surveys, downgrade polls. We actually used downgrade polls at Piktochart, and it gave us a lot of insights into what we could be improving. So it helped us to understand why people are leaving, what are the features that are missing, why they end up going to a specific competitor, and this way we have a chance to improve it before more people would leave. So this gives you really good insights. I would really recommend to use downgrade polls. It's something really helpful. Then you could also use retention calls. A lot of companies do that towards the end of the subscription, you would start calling customers. Loyalty programs, customer experience marketing, which is becoming more and more popular, and basically it's a lot about personalizing the user experience from the beginning when they come to your website throughout their whole funnel, as well as innovation. And let's go to the cases once again. And the first one is from Cardstack. This very cute Onzi. This is something that actually Cardstack is giving to their customers who are expecting a new baby or who just became new parents. Cardstack is an abandoned cart email solution for e-commerce companies, and it has implemented a number of mega high-touch customer experience initiatives. So in addition to providing a high-touch onboarding experience, the head of customer support, Thompson, personally writes postcards to people who sign up for trials. They send handwritten thank you cards and Cardstack sticky notes to every customer who converts to a paid plan. They also send postcards for holidays and to every paying customer, and it's all handwritten, very personal. And as mentioned, like whenever someone has a baby, they give this like cute little gift to the family as well, as a congratulation. And initially, actually, this whole initiative started as a gut feeling. Even though we say that, growth marketing doesn't use gut feeling, sometimes this is how you're going to start. Like you have a feeling that this could be something, which could drive growth. And this was actually the case for Cardstack as well. Because not long after, they were really able to show with the numbers that this effort paid off. So over the past year, the company has doubled its MRR and increased conversion rates between 5 to 6%. And perhaps even more telling is that 90% of the customer testimonials they have collected since launching the Thank You Note initiative, they mention the quality of customer service. And you could compare this to the 50% mentioning this in testimonials, for the testimonials that were collected before this whole initiative. So it's a big increase here, from 50% to 90%. Another example is from Headspace, which is a popular meditation app. So obviously customer expectations are at all the time like high, right? Like they expect from you innovations, they expect that you're gonna basically predict what they will want in the future, not just focus on right now, but kind of like they want you to anticipate what they will be, what you will be expecting from them in the future. And this is basically what Headspace did as well. So they diversified their core product to include a partnership with 11 different airlines to offer in-flight meditation channels. And they were the first meditation app that did it. So it was like very new idea. And right now at many airports, the company added a phone booth style relaxation pod so travelers can relax and meditate in high stress area. At the same time, they also started offering a meditation app for kids. So obviously like the initial target group was, adults working in high stressful environments in the office, but many of these adults also have kids. So they added an option to have an additional meditation app for kids because they knew that this initial group, could recommend it to their children as well. They also had a partnership with Nike to offer sports meditation content. And this dedication and innovation of building loyalty, facilitating growth, and creating this amazing customer experience helped Headspace to skyrocket their subscribers to 500,000 and an estimated valuation of $250 million. Moving on, we are going now to revenue. And here, again, several KPIs. The important ones that I think are very applicable for SaaS businesses: monthly recurring revenue and annual recurring revenue. We could also use booking or general revenue. annual revenue per account, so how much do you get from a specific account or user, trial to paid conversion rate, and the number of paying customers. And a few tactics that we could look into are upselling, so basically trying to upsell like additional features or functionalities to your existing customers, pricing plans or like testing different pricing models, sales trial sequences, demo calls, and premium features. And my first example is from a company called Zora. And as a growth company, Zora's objectives are to build demand generation, drive conversions, and work sales cycles more efficiently. And Zora found that most of its prospects want to first test drive their software before actually entering into any conversation with a sales team. So what they did, they used WalkMe to develop and implement free individualized software demos on their website. And based on each user's persona, WalkMe contextually segmented these users, and in Zora, when they would like basically join the onboarding, they would really get very personalized demo experience based on like, their specific needs and relevant processes. In addition, Zora transformed its customer-facing analytics and reporting dashboard by implementing WalkMe Insights, and this provided valuable and complex data about their own customers. And soon after launching this initiative, it immediately became Zora's #1 asset for lead and pipeline generation, and also the best performing tool for converting prospects into qualified leads and opportunities. And this whole ability to feed the data into their CRM, into their central system, it resulted in 50% drop-off in sales cycle across the board. After implementing WalkMe, Zora found that it became easier to build a pipeline and qualify leads, and that overall customers who utilized WalkMe closed at a rate 4 times faster than customers who decided to skip this demo part. The second example is from a company, DocuSign. I think majority of you probably know it. It's an online signing document tool. And most users who are accustomed to DocuSign generous freemium features might have noticed that the team knew there was numerous opportunities to encourage free users towards upgrading as they use DocuSign more. And they resonated that by exposing certain gated premium features, and they would incentivize free users to upgrade. The team's funnel demonstrated that feature walls resulted in 5% lift in upgrade, as well as increase in signer to sender conversion by 10%. And given that obviously DocuSign has a lot of new unique users, like they actually have 130,000 every day, this is a really significant boost for DocuSign. Like it might seem like 5% is not a lot, but like if you have so many users, it actually ends up being a lot. And they kind of catered to this natural element of fear of missing out, like where they showed people like, oh, by the way, these are all the features that you're missing on by not using our paid plan. So this was like a very good approach for DocuSign. This was our second example. And now we are moving to the last stage of the funnel, which is referral. And yet again, let's look at the KPIs here. So the very obvious one is the Net Promoter Score. So would the customers or users of your product recommend it to their friend or coworker? Product rating, viral coefficient, so calculating how viral your product is going, as well as the referral rate. And few of the tactics here: referral program, recommend to a friend reminder. So you could either use this as pop-ups in the product or in emails. Customer stories, reviews, acquisition campaigns. So for example, you could focus on acquiring reviews for G2 or or a review website like Capterra, as well as user-generated content. And we have here two examples again. The first one is the most famous example for referral. I think like almost everyone heard about that one, but I think it's really important to mention is the example from Dropbox. So in order to fully understand the story, we would need to start with April 2008. So the numbers back then for Dropbox looked like this. They had 100,000 registered Dropbox users. Fast forward to January 2010, registered Dropbox users equal 4 million. That's huge, huge growth in just 15 months. So what happened? Referral program happened. So within just 15 months, they grew by 3,900%. Their month-over-month growth was between 15 to 20%, and they had 35% of daily signups from the referral program, while 20% was from like some other things like shared folders or other viral features. And the mechanism that Dropbox referral program was using was actually very simple. So for every referred friend, Dropbox was adding 500 megabytes of space for both the person that referred as well as this friend that they referred Dropbox to. And this was up to a limit of 16 gigabytes. And actually, if you wanted to unlock more space beyond the 16 gigabytes, you had to upgrade your account. Dropbox was really good in communicating the benefits of its referral program. They made it very clear and eye-catching. They made it part of their onboarding process, and they gave users a clear view of the actual benefits there. So it was really well executed referral program that I think a lot of companies after Dropbox have tried to replicate as well for their own product. Many of them actually have succeeded as well. And the last example that I want to use is the one from Google. As mentioned before, I used to work 6 years at Google, and I was mainly focusing there on building online communities, and I was also one of the co-organizers of the Global Top Contributor Summit. And this example is actually from the summit that happened in 2013. So we organized this event for our top users in Google headquarters, and 4 of our Spanish top contributors, so those were basically this, power users of Google AdWords, they launched an initiative together and created a YouTube channel with 22 videos focused on online advertising tips. And this was in no way managed by Google, supported by Google. They just did it on their own. This was something that they wanted to do as a group of users that they connected during the summit. So it was actually really worth for Google to bring them together. And the results were really amazing. They helped us to drive awareness about AdWords across small and medium-sized businesses in Spain. We also increased the number of certified individuals for Google Partners Academy by 232% in this year following the videos. And this generated 91% cost saving in training per attendee on the Spanish market. And all of it through user-generated content and through user referrals that actually happened on YouTube. And that was actually my last example. So we made it to the end. I hope you found it interesting. And I hope as well that this growth marketing tactics used by all these different successful companies will inspire you to start experimenting across your whole marketing funnel. And if you would like to learn more, or if you want to get an advice or maybe validate your idea, I'm available on the Growth Mentor platform. And I would love to connect with you there. There are also a lot of other mentors out there who tested many different growth marketing tactics, and I'm sure they would love to exchange best practices with you and help you out as well with the growth at your own company. That's all. Thank you so much.